pursue a nuclear bomb?
Is there a law that tells me that I must swear to convince others? I have said on numerous occasions that we do not want an atomic bomb.
Why should we believe you? You are violating 4 UN resolutions. You've kicked out UN inspectors. Why should the world believe anything that you say on this subject?
We do not insist that you should believe us. We've never said that you should. You are free not to believe us.
Now, that was Mahmoud Ahmadinejad during our interview a couple of years ago, denying again that Iran wants a nuclear bomb. Well, the same message will continue starting tomorrow, but with a different face. This time, new Iranian President Hassan Rouhani repeating Iranian denials. He arrives in New York tomorrow for the start of the United Nations General Assembly, where there's talk that he could even potentially meet with President Obama. Aaron David Miller, former advisor to 6 secretaries of state and vice president of the Woodrow Wilson Center, joins us now. Aaron, good to see you. When I did that interview, it was 4 resolutions. Now the Iranians are violating like 6 resolutions. They have not stopped the Iranian enrichment. Those centrifuges are still spinning. Why should we ever trust what they say?
You know, Eric, I've worked in this region for too long to believe in the tooth fairy. I don't believe in transformations. What I believe in are transactions, business deals. You meet my interests and needs and I meet yours. And the real question is whether or not sanctions and this new face have combined to create a degree of pain, combined with the threat of the use of force in Syria and by the president, have combined to bring the Iranians to the point where they are interested in a deal.
Do you think they are? I mean, it's actually real, or is it they're delaying?
Part of the problem is there's a difference between trying to create the capacity for a weapon and weaponizing. You know, I think the Iranians do, in fact, want the capacity to produce a weapon, to remain, in essence, one screwdriver away. I think they realize that the cost of actually weaponizing and testing may well be too high for them to bear. But perhaps they're willing, if we're prepared to relieve sanctions, to give that up. I just don't know, and I'm not going to trivialize the Israeli concerns on this one or ours. I just realize that, you know, you got 4 powers, North Korea, India, Pakistan, and Israel, that have nuclear weapons outside of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. We have not been able to stop the Indians, the Pakistanis, the North Koreans, or the Israelis from acquiring a weapon. And in that respect, there's only one country that can stop the Iranians, and that's Iran, if they conclude that the costs of acquisition are too high for them to bear. We just have to make sure that we keep that pressure on and make those costs high, but at the same time, test to see whether Rouhani is prepared to do a deal. I don't know. And I'm from Ohio, but on this one I'm from Missouri. You show me that the Iranians are prepared to give up enriching uranium over 20%. Show me they're prepared to ship out a good portion of their stock of highly enriched uranium. Show me they're prepared to close Fordo and to agree to inspections and transparency. And we'll show them that we're capable also of removing sanctions. So again, it's a business deal, no sentimentality, forget charm offensives. If their interests and ours coincide, there'll be a deal.
What if they don't do the show me state? What if they say start delaying and say, well, this and that, and it doesn't happen? How do we know it's for real? And what does President Obama potentially say if indeed he is meeting with his Iranian counterpart this week?
Look, you know, he can smile and have a handshake. That's not where the serious negotiating is going to be done. What started here, if anything, is a process. Question is whether or not we can create a framework to seriously test Iranian intentions here. And I don't know the answer to that. But one thing I do know, and we should have no illusions, at the end of the day, we cannot completely eliminate Iran's capacity to weaponize or to acquire that nuclear weapons capacity. Once scientific knowledge enters the consciousness of a society, it's really hard to get rid of it. The best you're going to be able to do without changing the regime, which seems to me almost impossible from the outside, the Iranian public over time might be able and willing to do that, is to keep Tehran X number of years away from developing that capacity. And that's the real challenge that we face. We are not going to turn this regime into some sort of democratic polity that is going to be prepared once and for all to declare it's not interested in nuclear weapons, it's not interested in nuclear capacity, it's not interested in the right to enrich uranium.
Yeah, I think they'll keep on going. I don't mean to interrupt. We're out of time.
Yeah, sorry.
Just a quick second. You talk about the process. This process has been going on for years. Constant talks, and those centrifuges keep going.
Eric, you've watched the Middle East movie now, I don't know for how long. Rarely do these processes conclude in anything definitive. Look at the Arab-Israeli conflict. Look at the Syrian civil war. Look at the Arab Spring. Obama's successor is going to be dealing with this problem too, I'm afraid, and so will my kids.
Wow. Aaron David Miller, fascinating insight. Always good to have your analysis. Thank you so much for
Pleasure,
joining us
Eric. Take care.
Absolutely.